The first question is, there is a wheel making revolutions about its axis with uniform angular acceleration. So we can use the three equations of motion here because the acceleration is uniform. Now it is starting from rest and it reach around 100 revolutions per second in 4 seconds. So we need to find the angular acceleration and the angle rotated during this 4 seconds. So the first one, what do we have? We have initial angular velocity 0, then frequency is 100 revolutions per second, and we know that omega is angular velocity can be 2 pi f. So omega will be final angular momentum. Let's say this is initial and this is final. So 2 pi into 100, so it will give you 200 pi and the unit will be radian per second. Okay, radian per second. So ultimately we know that omega minus omega naught v equal omega equal to omega naught plus alpha t. Okay, final angular velocity equal to initial angular velocity plus angular acceleration into time. So omega naught is 0, so omega will be equal to alpha t. Now alpha will be equal to omega upon t, which will give us 200 pi by 4, that is 50 pi radian per second square. Now we need to find angular displacement. So theta equal to omega naught t plus half alpha t square. So this term will be 0. So what we will have, half into time is 4 square, that is 16, and alpha is 50 pi. So theta will be, after solving this, 400 pi radians. So this is how you can solve the first question. This is quite simple, similar to the linear equations of motion that we used. In the second question, we have a wheel rotating with uniform angular acceleration and covers 50 revolutions in first 5 seconds. So we need to find the angular acceleration and angular velocity at the end of 5 seconds. Second one, so angular displacement 100 pi, time 5 seconds, this is given to us. Now we know that theta will be omega naught t, by the way initial angular velocity is 0, plus half alpha t square. So this is 0, so this will be half alpha t square only. So 100 pi equal to half alpha into 5 square is 25. So alpha will come out to be 40 pi radian per second. Now radian per second square actually, because this is angular acceleration. So now we need to find angular velocity. So omega equal to omega naught plus alpha t. So omega equal to 0 plus 40 pi, time is 5 seconds. So omega will be 200 pi radian per second, omega and alpha. Actually we did some calculation mistake here. This will be 8 pi radian square. Okay, now you can convert this into revolutions per second square also. So how to convert? 8 pi divided by 2 pi. so it will get converted into revolutions per second square. So it will give you 4 revolutions per second square. And again this is 8 pi, so this will give us 40 pi. Okay, 40 pi. So you can convert it into revolutions per second by dividing it by 2 pi. So omega equal to 40 pi divided by 2 pi, so it will give you 20 revolutions per second square. Now in the third question we have a wheel starting from rest and it is uniformly accelerated at 4 radian per second square for 10 seconds, and then it is allowed to rotate uniformly for the next 10 seconds. So we need to, and then it finally comes to rest in next 10 seconds. So we need to find the total angle rotated, that is angular displacement, or rather I should say angular distance. Okay, so total angle that is rotated. So first of all, what do we have? Let me draw the graph. So the situation is it is divided into 10 seconds. So 10, 20, 30, x-axis. This x-axis is time, and this value is 10 omega. So we need this is angular velocity. So if you need to find the angular distance, then the area is to be found out. Just like in linear case we used to find velocity time graph, we used to find the area under the curve and it used to give us the distance. So what will be the maximum angular velocity? It can be found out by omega equal to omega naught plus alpha t. Omega naught is 0, so omega equal to alpha is 4 and time is 10 seconds, so it will give us 40 radian per second. So the area under the curve 1 by 2 10 omega plus 40 into 10, that is omega into 10. This is actually omega plus half omega into 10. So half 10 into omega, that is 40, so 400 plus 400 plus 400, so it will give you 800 radians. So this will be your angular distance, 800 radians. So this is the total angle that is traveled. In the fourth question we have a body which is rotating about a fixed axis. There is some angular acceleration of 1 radian per second square. Now through what angle does it rotate? So we need to find the angle by which it rotates during the time in which its angular velocity increased from 5 to 15 radian per second. So the fourth one, alpha is 1 radian per second square, omega naught is 5 radian per second, omega final angular velocity is 15 radian per second. So omega equal to omega naught plus alpha t. T will be omega minus omega naught upon alpha 15 minus 5 upon 1, that is 10 seconds. Now theta is omega naught t plus half a t square, alpha t square. So it will give us 5 into 10 plus half. Alpha is 1 and 10 square is 100. So it will be 100 radians. So theta will be 100 radians. Now we need to find the angular velocity of a body rotating with acceleration of 2 revolutions per second square, and it completes 5th revolution after the start. So the 5th one. So what do we have? We have theta is 5 revolutions, alpha is 2 revolutions per second square, omega naught is 0, and we need to find final angular velocity. So omega square equal to minus omega naught square equal to 2 alpha theta. So omega square, and this is 0, equal to 2 alpha theta. So omega equal to root 2 alpha theta, which is root 2 into 2 into 5. So omega comes out to be 2 root 5 revolutions per second. Now this will be the final answer. Obviously there are other ways to find the value. There are other formulas as well, other equation of motion as well. In question 6, we have a disc of radius 10 cm and it is rotating about its axis at an angular speed of 20 radian per second. So we need to find the linear speed of a point on the rim and the middle point of a radius. So the 6th question. So what do we have, by the way? Radius of disc is 10 cm. In meter it will be 0.1. Angular velocity is 20 radian per second. So linear velocity is omega r on the rim, okay, on the rim. So 20 into 0.1, that is 2 meter per second. And angular velocity, linear velocity at the middle will be r by 2 because it is at the middle, half. So 20 into 0.1 divided by 2, that is 1 meter per second. Okay, this is r. So 1 point was here and 1 point was here, r by 2. In 7th question, we have a disc which is rotating about its axis with angular acceleration 4 radian per second square. We need to find radial and tangential components of the acceleration at a distance of 1 cm from the axis of rotation at the end of first second after the disc starts to rotate. So what are the things that we have here? First of all, after 1 second, that is time is 1 second. Radius or distance is 1 cm, that is 0.01 meter. Alpha is 4 radian per second square. So omega will be omega naught plus alpha t. Omega naught is 0, so alpha t equal to, this will be 4 radian per second. Now radial acceleration is given by omega square r. So it will be 0.16 meter per second square. And tangential acceleration is given by alpha r. So it will be 0.04 meter per second square. So just remember these formulas. In the 8th question, we have a block which hangs from a string wrapped on a disc of radius 20 cm, free to rotate about its axis, now which is fixed on horizontal position. Now if the angular speed of the disc is 10 radian per second, now with what speed is the block going down at that instant? So the situation is something like this. something like this. Now this block is moving the rim of the pulley. So pulley is moving at omega equal to 10 radian per second, and radius of pulley is 20 centimeter, that is 0.2 meter. So the linear velocity will be r omega or omega r, that is 0.2 into 10. It will give you 2 meter per second. So again, this is quite straightforward. Now in question 9 we have 3 particles. Masses are 200 gram and they are kept on the corners of equilateral triangle of side 10 centimeters. So we have to find a few things. So question number 9. So the situation is something like this. We have an equilateral triangle and in the first question we have to in the first part we have to find the moment of inertia about the axis joining 2 points of particle, and in the second part we have to find the moment of inertia about an axis passing through one of the particle and perpendicular to the plane of the other 2 particles. So in the one case this is the axis which is passing through 2 particles, and in the another case this is the axis which is passing through one particle and perpendicular to the plane of 2 particles. So this is B part, this is A part. So first of all A part. So the perpendicular distance from axis is, let's say this is D, so is AD and it is root 3 by 2 into 10. This is root 3 by 2 into side, okay, and side is 10. 5 root 3 centimeter. So moment of inertia about BC will be I equal to mr square. So m is 200 and perpendicular distance is 5 root 3. So it will give you 200 into 25 into 3. So it will be 15,000, but units are gram centimeter square. So in kilogram meter square it will be 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 3 kilogram meter square. Now in this second part, the axis of rotation, let's say it passed through A and perpendicular to BC, passing through A and perpendicular to BC. So the net moment of inertia will be due to 2 particles B and C. So 2 mr square, 2 into mass 200 and perpendicular distance again. This is the perpendicular distance. Okay, so this is how much? Distance is 10, so 10 square. So it will give you 400 and 2 more zeros. So it will be 4 into 10 to the power minus 3 kilogram meter square. This was in gram centimeter square. So this will be your answer. Now in the 10th question we have particles having mass 1 gram, 2 gram, 3 gram, up to 100 gram, and they are kept at distance 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, etc. respectively on a meter scale. So we need to find the moment of inertia of the system about a perpendicular bisector of meter scale. So the situation is, so let's say 1, 10, 20 and so on. Obviously there are 2-3 particles at every location, okay, but we are, for the sake of convenience, we are only taking 1, 10, 20, but the particles are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 up to 100. So we need to find the moment of inertia about this axis, which is passing through the center of the meter scale. So the masses are 1 gram, 2 gram, 3 gram, then 10 gram, 11, 12, 13 up, then 20 gram and so on, 30 gram, 100 gram, 90 gram and so on, okay. So now we will consider 2 at a time, okay. So consider 2 particles at 49 centimeter and at 51 centimeter. The moment of inertia due to this will be 0 because its distance from the axis is 0. So it will be mr square, that is 49 into r square, that is 1. The distance of 49 1 from the 50 is 1. Plus 51 into again 1 square equal to 100 gram per centimeter square. So similarly you can find for 2 particles. So 48th one and 52nd one will be like this. So it will give you 100 into 2 square gram per centimeter square. Then for 47 into 3 square plus 53 into 3 square, it will give you 100 into 3 square gram per centimeter square. So what you will get 100 common, 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square up to 49 square. So it plus, and one more is of the 50th one. So what do we have? 100 into 50 into 51 into 101 divide by 6. So it will give you 4292,500 gram per centimeter square, or 0.429 kilogram meter square. This is gram into centimeter square. So this will be the moment of inertia. So this was the trick that you need to use in this question. Now we need to find the moment of inertia of a pair of spheres in the 11th question, each having mass m and radius r, and they are kept in contact about the tangent passing through the point of contact. So in the 11th one, what do we have? So we have 2 spheres kept in contact. Radius is same, okay, radius is same. First sphere, second sphere, y-axis, and this will be the x-axis. Or let's not use x or y-axis, let's just use this axis only. So let's say this is xy, or let's say this, the name of this axis is AB, AB axis. Now we have 2 bodies of mass m and radius r moving along the common tangent, this common tangent, okay. So the moment of inertia of the first body about the tangent is given by mr square plus 2 by 5 mr square. This is the general formula for any sphere, okay. Mr square plus 2 by 5 mr square. Now it will give you 7 by 5 mr square, and similarly for the second body it will be same, 7 by 5 mr square. So therefore overall will be 7 by 5 mr square plus 7 by 5 mr square, so it will give you 14 by 5 mr square total moment of inertia. So find the individual moments of inertia and then add them. In the 12th question we have moment of inertia of uniform rod of mass 0.5 kg and length 1 meter, which is given 0.1 kilogram meter square about a line perpendicular to the rod. Now we need to find the distance of this line from the middle point of the rod. So let's first try to draw the diagram. So let's say this is our rod. The length is 1 meter. Now what do we need to do is that we need to have a center of rod. So let's say this is the center of rod. Now there is a perpendicular line along by which we are having this moment of inertia that is given to us. So let's say the moment of inertia along this is ml square by 12. Now let's say we need to find at the center, so it will be from the center it will be ml square by 12 plus, let's say the distance between the two is md square. So this is by parallel axis theorem. We knew about this. So what about the center? So this plus the distance between the axis. So ultimately ml square by 12 plus md square, and this is 0.10. So 0.5 into 1 square upon 12 plus 0.5 into d square equal to 0.10. Moment of inertia was given to us. Okay, moment of inertia was given to us. So d square equal to 0.2 minus 0.082. So after solving, d will be equal to 0.342 meter from the center. So this axis is how much from the center, how much distance? 0.342 meter. Okay.